There's danger out there, and I'm here to save you today. I'm here to warn you about BS, and you don't know BS. Now, before we start, you from Memphis, I'm not talking barbecue sauce. Toastmasters, this is not a bad speech. I am talking about the dangerous Bully Short, the meanest bull there was. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and those soon to be saved from this BS. Bully Short, or BS as he went by, was the meanest bull you ever saw. In fact, when he was a bull calf, you would find him at the playgrounds. He would be pulling the heifers' tails, grabbing their Barbie calves and throwing their heads off, pushing the bull calves down, taking their candy and breaking their toys. And when he got older, he got meaner. In fact, he was the one that started graffiti. You would clean your barn up and you'd go out the next day and BS was everywhere. You would ask BS to stop the graffiti and he says, "What graffiti? I'm just putting out my brand." Well, I first met BS one night coming home from a dance. It was late. The barn door was open, the lights were on and the voices. So I snuck in to see who was in the barn. And to my surprise, there was BS and his gang. He was talking about taking over the world. He stood up with the report and says, "I have proof. The grass is greener on the other side of the fence." Well, I started to shake and tremble, and I kicked the bucket. That darn milk bucket, and I turned and looked, and there was BS. And I looked at his eyes and his meanness, and the thought came to me, my doctor's right, I need to exercise, I think I'm going to run. I ran straight to the Bovine Protection Agency. There, the BPA, as they've been called, wanted to hear my story, and as I told them, their eyes got wide. Their faces went white. They grabbed me. They put me on an airplane. They flew me clear across to Pamplona, Spain. They told me BS would never find me there. Well, this was a dull, boring town. Nothing happened in Pamplona. And I finally thought, you know, maybe facing BS isn't quite as bad as being here. But that soon was going to change. The mayor says we have to have some excitement here in Pamplona. We're going to have a big festival. Come out and see something that's really going to change your life. So I went down the 1st of July, got down early, went to a restaurant on the cafe sidewalk. I ordered my lunch, told the waiter I'd be right back, and I stepped off the sidewalk. And I am here today because of two things: allergies and potato chips. It was a spring summer day. My eyes started to water. I didn't see BS step out of the crowd. He was staring at me. But luckily, I brought a small Texas handkerchief. I pulled it out. I didn't want pollen on this when I wiped my eyes. And for some reason, this made BS mad. He came in a dead run. He was almost to hit me when the waiter said, "Senor, you didn't tell me what type of potato chips." And I go, "Oh, Lay's." BS went by. I looked at him. He looked at me. He started to charge. And I decided I was going to run with the grace of a gazelle. We went down one street. It was crowded. You could hear the screams, the bones break, the yells, the bodies as they got trampled under BS. I went down another street. He was right behind me. I was getting tired. I saw I only had one chance. I saw a fence. I grabbed it, and as I grabbed it, I swung up over the top. And as BS went by, I grabbed his credit card, and he stopped. Everyone knows the way to stop a bull from charging is take his credit card. And the strangest thing happened. The mayor came over and congratulated BS for his excitement. Because this is exactly what Pompolona was looking for. He wanted to know if he could stay an extra week. Then they wanted to know if he could come back every year and do the same thing again. I thought that was strange. Who would want to run from BS? But the mayor says, no, this is the running of the bulls. So you be careful, because if you're in Pompolona, it may be a bull or it may be BS.